Hi there Aquarius, thank you for joining me for your year 2016 forecast. This year is going to challenge that idealistic side of your nature, and you may find that life's realities are not always going to dovetail with some of your hopes and aspirations, but that doesn't mean to say you shouldn't stick up for them. Your co-ruler, your traditional ruler of Saturn, is going to be incredibly important this year. But also, so is the sector that Saturn is located in. And it's going to be there for the whole 12 months, which is your 11th solar house. This is all about your friendships, your future direction, the way that you do see things in a more global context, your sense of humanity, your kindness, all these things are influenced by the 11th house. It helps you be an individual, yet at the same time be cooperative and network. It's an incredibly important area. But Saturn is there, and of course it will ask some questions. It always does, whichever zone it's in. And it was in this part of your horoscope for 8 months last year, but then of course wound back into your sector of work and the way you connected to the world at large. But now it's here pretty well for the next 2 years. So as this new year begins, the story is this. Mercury, the planet of communication, is just on the cusp of transferring from a more reflective part of your scope into your own sign. Now, in the last phase of 2015, Mercury was involved in quite a dust-up with Mars, which was in your sector of freedom and independence, and the more outspoken side of your nature may have seen you be more assertive about some sensitive issues that you've been holding deep within. But as this new year begins and Mercury switches to your sign initially, well, Venus, the planet of love and relating, is in Sagittarius too. And this is a very sociable part of the horoscope for Venus to go through. And it suggests that one relationship with one friend can become much more serious right at the start of 2016. But Mercury is soon going to be rewinding back into the sign of Capricorn. So you just need to be conscious that some of your hopes and plans may take a step forwards and then may just have to settle back down again. And it could take a little while before you really start to gain traction in this new year. If that does happen and you find yourself much more engaged by other issues, don't fret, because Saturn is going to be forging a terrific angle with the Sun at the turn of the year, and things that are going on behind the scenes, quite profound things in terms of your future direction, can have an amazing impact on your long-term future, even if it's not particularly obvious. The same can be true around your resources or close alliances, with Jupiter also soon heading into a retrograde on the 8th of January as well. So as you go into this new year, what makes this so different to last year? Well, I think really it's all about Uranus, your modern ruler. Now that's continuing to clash with the deeply conservative Pluto, or the influence which is deeply conservative in the sign of Capricorn. And the two will aggravate each other for a final 3 months in these two zodiac signs. And they're not going to come back in this particular location for lots and lots of years to come. So it's something that you can celebrate, certainly by the time April comes round. But if you find yourself still feeling rather drained, not necessarily fully charged up, your nervous and emotional energy sometimes feeling a little bit raw, it wouldn't be a surprise. It's all about your reality and the more impulsive side of your nature being challenged by your subconscious, and that's still going to be there just as this year begins. However, the great news is that Mars is going to give you a lot of extra confidence in January, because he is hustling and bustling his way through the part of your horoscope that's to do with ambitions. But then, early in March, he transits into Sagittarius, yes, where Saturn is already located. In fact, Mars is going to be in Sagittarius for 5 months of this year. This is an extraordinarily long stay, and it's all because of a retrograde. Mars, I beg your pardon, usually takes 60 days to work through each sign. But this time, this 5 months is going to give you a lot more oomph when it comes to networking, connecting with others, and perhaps experimenting about what you want from your future. But Saturn, as you well know, can be an influence of restriction, and you may find yourself at times going between sticking with what you know and feel secure about, which reflects your fixed nature, and at other times Mars is going to push you to be more avant-garde, more risk-taking. And that's something that you could get a lot of excitement from, but it does suggest that some friendships may be coming and going in 2016. And I know, being an Aquarius myself, that friendships is not an area that generally people who are water carriers take lightly. However, there is lots to look forward to. And I think the solar eclipse, which occurs early in March, is an opportunity to take much more seriously your resources. And over the following 6 months, there can be an opportunity to use your ability to get on with lots of different types of people, because that's a real gift, that you can be just as friendly to someone who's very different to another person in your network. And that gift could see you side by side, teaming up with someone and doing well from a financial viewpoint, especially if your idea is quite visionary or helps people, helps humanity in some way, which really fits in with your more noble instincts. However, there is a lunar eclipse which also occurs on the 23rd of March. And this really points towards your liberties, the things that you really believe in, your ideology. And it's in, of course, your sister air sign of Libra. So you can't be too idealistic about financial matters this year. You have to be realistic. And there's a major reason for this. And it really starts to shape up at the end of May, and it will provide a backdrop through to October. And that is a square between Neptune in your second solar house and Saturn. This aspect, if you tune into me regularly, you'll know occurred in the last 2 months of 2015. It's a very draining, distorting, debilitating influence, and it can warp some of the ideas you have in terms of your reality when it comes to what is workable in terms of business ideas or just being realistic about your spending. But it could be that you're not going to do anything particularly different. It may be what you receive in, how you experience people. And there could be some friends that you make that then you ultimately realise their values are so different to yours that you will never actually unite your way of thinking about life and theirs in a way which is workable. So just be aware that there could be some choppiness, some comings and goings from the middle of April, while Mars is going to be going backwards, which does lead to the sense that there can be some frustrations around friendships. By August, Mars is going to be going side by side with Saturn, and there could actually be some kind of battle of wills between you and someone that you're close to, or perhaps you yourself could feel that you really have to put everything in order to make sure that a future project is future proofed. But if you show that commitment, Saturn as ever will reward you. By September, I do feel it's going to be really significant for you in terms of business and finances. From the 8th of May, Jupiter has been going forwards, and it's possible that you have actually been feeling a lot happier about property matters, about any type of investments, or just risk-taking in general. But that solar eclipse on the 1st of September is really going to support that. But I think it's wonderful on the 9th of September when Jupiter really opens up the clutch and sweeps into a much more outgoing, exuberant, and inquisitive part of your horoscope. And the last quarter of the year could see you travelling a lot more, engaging in some course of higher education, and just refining really your value system and being much more conscious about who you do feel comfortable being close to. October, however, could see a much more difficult clash, because then Mars goes across Pluto, and that's more to do with psychology, more to do with politics. And if there is somebody that doesn't really get you, is a secret enemy in some kind of way, they could be revealed sometime in October. But once Mars makes his way into your sign in November and stays there for much of December, it's your turn to really feel much more energized. And I think that's something you're really going to welcome after the nervously draining period, which did coincide with the end of 2015 and the start of 2016. And you really could find yourself on quite a charge across those 2 months and dazzling everyone with your newfound confidence and determination. But as the year comes to a close, there could still be a bit of a trick, a smoke and mirrors job around some kind of financial scheme, or just your desire to indulge in life's goodies. Certainly a diet, as the year comes to a close, may very well go on the back burner, but you'll probably have a great time in the process. But this is a year when your natural nobleness, your desire to do the right thing, can definitely be strengthened, but you will have to stand strong for what you believe in. And not everybody is going to come up to your expectations. And you just need to be philosophical that some people will leave your world. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.